Drop it.
What's up guys, Healing Professor here, and in this video we're going to go over a simple 10-minute stretch routine that's dynamic stretching that you can do before a workout that's going to make you feel great, healed, and eventually if you do enough you'll get the splits. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at what I'm doing. Now this is going to stretch out your entire body, and I'm going to just make comments on different things that I'm doing so that you can have little insights on why I'm doing it. And yeah, so let's get into it. You start by reaching up towards the sky. You do some rotation, and then this one is very helpful. You put your hands behind your head, and then you do side bending, but you're pushing on your neck too. And whenever I do this one, I get a couple of cracks in my neck, and it just really opens that side of your body. Now another thing that I really want to point out is that you're moving, so you're stretching out the muscles, the fascia, but it's not static stretching, so almost fell over right there. It's not static stretching, so it's not going to inhibit any of your muscle fibers if you're doing a strength workout. Now what I'm doing here is a back bend. I put my hands on my hips and I was leaning back. And what you really want to do when you're doing the stretching routine is just go as far as you comfortably can. You don't really want to push things too much, but you're looking for full body compound stretches. Now this one just feels great. You're going to release everything in your back, your shoulders. Also a good one for forward head posture. And if you grab the elbows while you're down there, you'll feel an amazing stretch in your back. This will get your lower back, your mid back, on the side of your back. Your back is really just going to feel amazing if you do this. And again, it only takes about 10 minutes. And you can see it's three-dimensional stretching. It's not just stretching in one dimension. You're really moving your body in every single position that you can before you move into the next position. So it's going to be a combination of bending, extending, and twisting. That's pretty much all you can do. You can rotate, you can bend forward, back, side to side, and you can twist. So you always want to work on that squat mobility. And look what we got here. While you're in that squat, you're doing rotations. This is an easier version of like an overhead squat, but again, you're going to feel this in your hips, your back, and again, you're stretching everything. It might sound weird, but doing these stretches in combination with each other is going to improve your overall mobility. You might have to stretch something in your hips so that your neck can turn more because the fascia runs over multiple joints. So you really just want to do stretches and move as much three-dimensionally as you can. You see that I'm in a squat, but I'm reaching to the side, I'm reaching in front of me. And you really have to try it, and you're going to start feeling different sensations, different pulls on the tissues of your body, particularly the fascia, when you bend and you twist. So if you look here, this is a good one from yoga. You're going to feel this in your back a lot. And you really just want to find a position where you're getting like a 7 out of 10 stretch. Now this one here, you really just want to press into your palms gently and get a bigger stretch in your back. Now if you see, sometimes you got to move your stomach out of the way, especially if you got like a little hillbilly pot belly going on, which I definitely have if you didn't notice. And right there, you know, you always want to push it a little bit further if you can. You don't want to try and force it. Oh, one other thing, you want to breathe deep through your nose only, in through the nose, out through the nose, as you're doing all of these. You never want to start holding your breath. You really just have to breathe and relax. Now, by the way, guys, I'm going to have a whole list of all the stretches that we go through so that you can look at them as you go to the gym. You can print it out and have a little stretching routine. So overall, you'll feel your mobility increasing in general like crazy as you do this routine because it's just combining full body stretches. Now, it will take you some time to get to the point where you can do all these different stretches to a great extent, but I suggest you do this 3 days a week, and it will only take 5 or 10 minutes. And this flow that you go through is absolutely one of the best flows that you can do, and you're just going to feel really good. And this is what I use to be able to do a front split in a good front straddle without even training for it. You know, you just go through and you do these stretches loyally 3 times a week, and eventually you're going to get more mobility. So this one's really, really important. People sit way too much, and so the hips are stuck in the knee up towards the chest position. So you just want to get that leg back. And notice what I'm doing. I'm twisting while I'm in all these different stretched out positions. You can't just stretch in one dimension. Now, after you do this common runner stretch, go ahead and put that hand above your head and lean to the opposite side. So if you got your left leg back, you raise your left arm and then you lean to the side. And then you do it on the opposite side. Now this is going to really stretch out your back too. Almost all of these will stretch out something in your back. And I know that's something that you guys deal with. Almost everybody has low back pain. So trust me on this. Try out these stretches and you're going to see not only do you feel looser in your hips, your shoulders, but everything in your back really, really opens. Now this might look a little bit crazy. You don't really have to go as far as what I'm doing. Just go as far as you can. You don't have to be a weird, freaky mutant who's able to go this far. This is only after 6 months of doing this 3 times a week at least. Now, what you want to do is just get into these common positions. We got a nice little pigeon here. Then you just want to move every joint of your body as much as you can comfortably. You saw that I was moving my neck around, I'm moving my arms around, I'm wiggling slowly in every joint that I can just to try and get a different sensation. What you're doing is you're looking for little crevices that are hiding tightness. And as you staple down the fascia with your body in different positions and you move other joints, you are giving yourself the opportunity to stretch that fascia that would need to be lengthened by stapling it down with a particular joint and then moving a different one. Like if you have some fascia that goes from your wrist all the way to your hips, you might have to staple down your hips by going into a pigeon and then moving your arm around. So that's why I'm always doing different movements. You see here in the down dog, try shifting your butt left and right. And while the same time you're doing that, you shrug the same shoulder. So you push your bum to the left, you push out with your right shoulder. I'm telling you, that will stretch out the side of your back tremendously. Now we're just doing the same thing on the other side. Basic runner's stretch, and let's talk a little bit more about exactly why the stretch is good. So first of all, you're getting those hip flexors stretched out, and you have the psoas, which is a hip flexor that pulls on your lower back vertebrae. And I almost never see people doing this stretch to this extent, where first thing you do, you twist left and right. Second thing that you do is you put that arm overhead and you go side to side, do it on both sides. And you saw that I pushed on my neck right there. I guarantee you that cracked my neck. So you're always taking at least 3 breaths in each position. And you can floss in and out. And what I mean by flossing is you go pressure on, you go a little bit deeper into the stretch, and pressure off at that same tempo that takes you to say those words. And you just basically do about 3 reps each side. Maybe take 3 deep breaths or like 5 seconds in each position. And just going through each of these positions is, you're going to feel really, really different in your body after you do this. So again, getting a nice pigeon stretch on the other side. If you notice that you're tighter on one side or the other, which is almost guaranteed, then what you want to do is take a couple more breaths on that side, usually 1.5 to 2 times longer in that stretch. So if you took 3 seconds or 3 breaths on your right side, but your left side is tighter, go ahead and take like 5 or 6 breaths when you do the other side. Try and equalize and normalize how much time you're spending, because you want to be symmetric. Number 1 risk for injury is asymmetry, other than previous injury. Okay, let's see what we're doing now. Time to go into the straddle position. Now, we just did a lot of forward folding, where the body's coming forward, so eventually we're going to even it out with some extension. But like I said, if you can't do this to the same degree that I can, I'm like a mutant Ninja Turtle, then just do what you can, like what I just did right there. You don't have to go head to your ankle. This isn't a competition. Don't overdo it. If you overdo it, you can pull something. Like I pulled my fascia one time, my hamstring, and that just holds you back. So really don't compete, just go as far as you can, go through the motions. And like if you can't do this, then just put your hands on your thighs and just bend forward. Same thing with here, going into the side lunge. This is great for the hamstrings, adductors. Again, guys, you stretch out the hips, that lumbopelvic junction is going to stretch out your back tremendously. So you're going to even feel this in your back. But notice I'm going a little bit deeper every single time I go left and right. It's staying dynamic. This is kind of an exercise at the same time, but notice my ankles. They're pointing forward. I'm not really rotating them too far out to the side. And I'm breathing. I'm taking my time. I'm supporting myself with my upper body. Now, there's a position if you're not as flexible, you just stay higher. If you're like me, you can go deeper. But just take your time. Again, never try and force anything. Now, if you can, go ahead and switch. Turn those toes up towards the sky after you do 3 times left and right, breathing about 2 or 3 times. And again, just play around. You really just want to explore and see where you're tight, challenge yourself in new positions. It's not very common that you see people rotating in every single different position, moving their neck, trying to look up, trying to look down. Again, just treat it like you're probing, you're searching. There's no such thing as an official stretch. Everything is just movement. So, just focus on getting into positions that are functional for your body. Like this could be seen as like a one-legged squat, and then just move around every single way that you can. Trust me, you're going to get so much more benefit in being creative with your stretching than if you just follow a two-dimensional, I'm going to stretch in one plane routine. Alright, so that's the straddle series. Now, shaking it out, moving into what looks to be a forward fold and into a chair position. So again, this one, you're just folding as far forward as you can on the exhale, inhale, and you bend the knees, keeping the feet together, toes pointing forward, and you do that 2 or 3 times. Now you only go into the split, you only challenge yourself after you stretch out the hamstrings, the adductors, and the hip flexors, which we did, actually in that order. So I really just did this routine. I never spent a lot of time just holding static positions. I did dynamic stretching. I moved around all of my joints in different positions. And again, it was all dynamic. It was never like I set time aside to just do static stretching. I always just used it as the warm up to my workout, and it made me feel amazing, and it made me feel ready for the workout. So depending on your mobility, this could take you 3 months, it could take you 6 months. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that you feel good every single time that you do it, and you just enjoy the process. Stretching should feel good. If it doesn't feel good, then you have to get massaged, because you have a lot of trigger points that are making your muscles literally like steel cables instead of being like noodles that can stretch. It's your muscle literally contracting. You might also have facial adhesions, which is kind of like when the tissues get stapled down and glued together. And you can also do foam rolling. It's not like there's only one way that you can do it, but basically you got to get those muscle tissues healthy. Now, this is another thing that you want to save for after you do a lot of this initial preliminary stretching. You get into a straddle position, you start reaching left and right. And don't worry if you can't do this. You don't have to get too fancy with it. It's just when you get mobile enough, you're going to have to look for new positions. Initially, just reach for that toe. Even if you're at your knee, it doesn't matter. Just breathe and go back and forth. Try and think long term about it. Again, I totally sucked at this position. There's no way I could do a full pancake like this when I started. To be honest, I didn't even focus on trying to improve it. I just did it because it felt so darn good at the beginning of every single workout. And yeah, I can gain a lot more mobility, but just staying loyal to the process 3 days a week, and just think about improving your movement. You really want to improve your movement, and eventually the mobility will come as a byproduct. So after you go left, right, and down the middle, go at a diagonal. It's like a 45-degree angle, and you really get a lot of different crevices in your hips, in your adductors. Guys, this is going to cure a lot of your aches and pains. and it's just going to make you feel like you can kick higher, you can squat deeper. It's just going to make your body feel better. Your neck is going to ache less, your back is going to ache less. Oh, right there, I was checking it to see if it was still recording. Okay, so again, you want to keep the basic stretches first, and then you get into the more advanced, difficult stretches after. Moving into back bends, what you really want to do before you do any back bends is do some cobra position where you're face down and you're just pushing yourself up like a push-up while keeping your hips down. And then eventually you can get into these back bend variations. As you saw, I like to start in a squat and then I reach back. This is pretty advanced, kind of just playing around. Don't try and do all this stuff if you have a stiff back. Just start off like this. You can even start on the ground. You could even just do a glute bridge. Grab your hands together in between your back. If that's not enough, then just go into a back bend. Doesn't have to be as much as me. You don't have to bring your feet so close to your hands. That's making it a lot more intense. But look at that shoulder position. That's stretching out the chest, the lats, the front of the delts. This is stretching out everything, guys. I really think that everybody should aspire to be able to do a back bend. It keeps your body from getting herniated discs because we're always flexing forward. You want to go back into the back extension. Almost nobody's doing extension exercises. You could even just take a yoga ball and arc yourself over it. The whole point is that you want to get extension even if your back bend sucks. Do some cobra push-ups, aka Mackenzie extension push-ups. Arc over a yoga ball. You could even just arc your back over a foam roller. Eventually, everybody should be able to do what I just did. It's just basic ab strength. It's just core stability. It's nothing really that special. And we're doing way too much forward flexion to begin with. So yeah, work on your back bends, everybody. Now, after you do all this, we're moving to the ground. You could do this at first if you really wanted to. This is a really gentle way to start out. But you start with hugging the knee, and then you rotate the top leg over. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can just hold it. I like to get rotation. So again, my left arm is all the way open horizontally. And notice I'm also putting the arm overhead. And then eventually you just take the other hand, put it up towards the sky, and move the other arm around as much as you can. So obviously you do that both sides. Flip on over. This one's called the scorpion. Great for opening up the chest. This is so important to fix your posture. We have to stretch our chests. Now this is how you start. You just cross the leg over and you just open up. This is how it looks from the other side. It's basically opening your chest, and notice it's getting that leg behind you. So that's stretching out the hip flexor again. And guys, you're going to feel this in your back like crazy. You're going to love how this feels. Now notice I'm trying to bring that foot all the way up towards my hands. You don't have to touch it, but see how I just crawled it? And then this is a great exercise I should have had before I did the back bends, but this is the Mackenzie extension cobra push-up. This is great for back bends, great for a warm-up for that. And looks like that's pretty much it, guys. That's the full stretching routine. Now again, I suggest you do this 3 days a week, but you can use this before your workout or after your workout when you wake up in the morning to boost your day and give you energy. Or let's say you're sitting around all day like most people do, just pick out a few of the stretches and do them. I guarantee you're going to feel outstanding. Stay loyal to this. Try it for a month. Take a 30-day challenge. You're going to feel a lot more mobility. But if you just stay loyal to this will keep you mobile and feeling great. Healthy fascia and muscles throughout your whole life. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know how this goes when you try it. Leave your comments below. Please give this video a like if it's helped you. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date on videos to heal, stay healthy, and to improve your performance. And thank you guys so much for watching again. My name is John Van Dyne. I'm the Healing Professor.